What's up, dude?
Uh, Nothing much. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very, very good. Can you hear me very good?
Oh yeah, I have Bluetooth headphones in, so
How you doing?
not bad. How about yourself? Nice to talk to you kind of in person, I guess.
Yeah, things are going good.
Good. Yeah, figured I'd write you one night and see if you wanted to talk and everything. So it's only been since August since we really talked to each other. So
Yeah, on tour, right?
yeah, back at
Yeah,
the craft house in Pittsburgh.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was
That was
a fun show.
that was an awesome show.
Yeah, it
Not a
was.
single day doesn't go by that I don't think about it.
That's awesome.
Just
That's
the fact of
cool to
like
hear.
being on stage with you guys too is like
Yeah,
wow.
that
Like
was really
that,
cool.
it was something special. So
Did we all play guitar that on that, or did I just take the mic?
I think we all there were two guitars for that, me and you. I
Okay.
know I did leads, you did backing guitars. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a couple shows where people get up and I get confused. I forget which is which, but no, that was a lot
hey,
of fun.
yeah, it was. It worked out. People were saying that we sounded good for two guitars being there and everything too. So
Yeah,
it was
and
cool.
never playing.
Yeah, it was cool because like I became friends with Matt that day, the
Hmm.
tour manager and everything. It was funny because like I was hanging out backstage with you guys and all that, and he was like, "Okay, after Close Yet Far, you're going up there, and this is your song." I'm like, "Oh shit, this is really happening right now." So,
Yeah. Were you nervous?
oh yeah, I mean, not. I was very nervous whenever I first met you walking in and everything.
Hmm.
I can tell. Like, you're like, dude, you need to calm down. I remember that. It's just like,
Oh,
but
I said
after
that.
that,
I say
oh yeah, whenever, oh
I
yeah,
say
I was
that a lot to
like
people.
shaking and sweating and like everything.
Yeah,
So
you need to chill.
I I've been working on it. I've been working on it. So yeah,
Well, that's just what I say
no,
in those situations. Sometimes
and
you get fans that are like, you know, little like shaking.
don't
Back in the
know
day,
what to
we
do at that moment.
felt like John Lennon sometimes. Girls come
So
up
you
and crying and shit.
that means you played Yellow Brick Road after that and everything, right? No, that's
Yeah,
not
that's Elton John.
Elton John. Okay, John Lennon, Elton John, same difference, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, um, life's been weird these past couple months. Got my own place and new car and everything. So
That's sweet.
yeah,
It's always
definitely.
it's always fun to move and get new things, right?
Yeah, pretty eye-opening, I can say the least. So
Is this your first time living on your own, or
oh yeah,
yeah?
yeah, figuring
Are you
everything out.
are you alone?
Yep,
You got
happy
your
and alone.
happy and alone. I've never lived alone in my life, not for a fucking maybe for a week.
No,
I've never lived alone in my life. It terrifies me. I
I,
don't know
I
why.
see. I don't know how it would feel living with someone. I mean, I was with my parents before, but like living
Yeah,
with someone, I don't know. I don't
yeah.
know.
Well, you have to know them in some respect. I when I first came out to California, I shared a three-bedroom apartment or a townhouse with seven people, and
Okay.
two of them I didn't know very well. Well, three of them I didn't know very well. But it was me and my brother and her and his friend Mikey, which was a girl. She was the only girl, and then this guy Ryan, Vern, Zaborowski, um, this other guy that worked for Volcom, and I can't remember. It was seven of us. One on the couch, three per bedroom, and it was a nut house. It was like a party house. It got to the point
Party
where
house
like,
all the time.
yeah, it was insane. Like our neighbors were cool. They put up with it, but they had a lot of. One neighbor on the left side had a lot of cats, and then the other two neighbors, the other neighbor on the right was just like, you know, they had a 2-year-old kid, and like, but they were cool with it. But yeah, it just used to be nuts. People were coming in and out of there of all hours of the night, and eventually we had to put a list outside of people that weren't allowed to come in because it was just,
You have to put a list out?
yeah. It's like a list. It ended up
What?
being a list of 20 people because everybody would come over and just come inside and not like knock and stuff because there was always something going on. I mean, there was 7 of us there, you know,
Yeah.
and like eventually, like a lot of people just were out there welcome and did something stupid. So we had to, me and my brother and our other friend made a list of people we didn't want ever coming up back through the front door anymore, and put it outside
That's pretty
on the
funny.
on the door. It's like the following people are no longer allowed in the house.
It's
And then, yeah, it's a crazy time
I don't know how your neighbors put up with 7 of you. What it was you not knowing 2 of them like that. I couldn't
because
imagine.
we put up with like 12 cats, you know. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like a give and take kind of thing. And then the other guy was kind of like, he was older. He was probably like 10 years older than us, but he wanted to seem like the cool guy, and he would come over and stuff. So he actually ended up getting a divorce, I think, because of that. But
Oh wow.
I can only speculate. I don't know. Like, why are you going over and hanging out with those people?
Because they're cool. It's like you just go over and hang out. Like it's just kind of happens.
Yeah, he was this guy. I forget what his name was, but he was into like classic cars, and he would buy them and like restore them, and it was really cool. Like, I'm not really into cars at all, but like it was cool to see like how passionate he was about them, and like he would always be out in the alley like fixing up his car and shit and
Yeah.
talking. I think he was into drugs, so that might have made him it might have made it a little easier to deal with us. But yeah, I mean, that's my first experience of coming out to LA. And I remember we were in the pool, and I remember just thinking, God, like, this is like the best time of life.
Yeah.
You know, being 21, you know, 22 maybe. Like, I have my own apartment, a bunch of people there that I all like. I didn't like one of them. I hated one of them, actually. I had to kick him out because every time he came home, I remember he worked at Rite Aid, and every time he came home, my dog ran away from him. So obviously he's doing something to the dog. Dogs don't lie.
Yeah.
So I had to kick. But anyway, I just remember like being in the pool, and it was like late at night, and it was just like awesome weather, and I was coming from Philly, and I was just like, this is like, I got to remember this specific time because this is the best part of my life so far, and probably forever. So
Just keep going on after that. Yeah.
it was April of 2021. I mean, of 20, sorry, April of 2001. No,
Huh.
it wasn't Vern. Me and Vern got
That had
parlayed
to
up.
be one.
Yeah, that had to be Vern. It wasn't Vern. It was someone, his friend. Vern and I got along. We lived together. A lot of people don't know that. We lived together for like a year or two.
Now I
So
know with Vern and the credits for some bass, like do you guys jam all the time or
say
like
say again.
now with Vern being in like the first album with bass and everything, did you guys jam like all the time whenever you were out there and lived together, or like did you just do whatever, or
Did you say pay him?
like jam with him and
Oh,
everything, write
well,
music and
uh, I remember Vern being there. We had a party going on, of course, and I remember like taking a break from it and going upstairs, and I had a Marshall half stack in my bedroom
okay,
that I shared with my brother and the other guy whose name I can't remember. And I remember Vern came up like, "Why aren't you partying?" And I was writing the riff for Shock and Terror. Like that's
shit,
that's all I remember about living with Vern, at least a specific thing. I remember living with
yeah.
Vern and a bunch of other stories I could tell, but that was a very specific memory for me, is that I was like, I got to get away from this because sometimes you're just not in the mood. And I went upstairs, shut the door, and started jamming around on the guitar, and then I came up with um, and
Yep.
Vern came in. He's like, why aren't we partying, man? I was like, I'm not feeling it right now. So I got out the 4-track and um, demoed it. How come Vern didn't play on IDR? He wasn't good enough. I am just being honest. He really wasn't. And we were kind of, when you write your own shit, you want to have a bass player to trust. Otherwise, it'll not turn out the way you want it to turn out. Plus, because of where IDR was recorded, he wasn't around, and it was about mostly about playing. It was mostly about that he wasn't really good enough at the time, but there was other things involved, like he wasn't around, he was doing something else, or it cost too much to bring him in, plane tickets or travel or whatever.
Oh wow.
So it was easy to do quickly. You didn't need another person there. I don't. Not till Carver City did any bass player play on any of those albums.
Okay.
Most bass
Um,
players that I've worked with haven't played much on stuff.
it's hard to find a good, reliable bass player,
Tell me about it.
to say the least. Yeah, because like I'm in a death metal band, like near Pittsburgh and everything. Like we have original songs and everything, and we have two guitarists and a singer, but no bass player. It's like we can't really
Yeah,
go anywhere without a bass player, so
right.
that's what's holding us up.
Yeah, I know. I've had bad luck with band members, many, all my life. It's even worse nowadays because bands, even if you started a band today, the likelihood of getting any kind of success is so rare that not nobody wants to drop everything and join a band. You know,
Yeah.
so I'm lucky with Matty J because we've been playing together and working together for 20 over 20 years, and I know him and
How-
he knows me. So, but yeah, we need a second guitar player, and I'm trying to find somebody out in LA, but it's going to be like, God, I have to go through the stages of working with Deron Miller. Step 1, oh my God, I'm playing with Deron Miller. I can't believe
Yeah.
this. Step 2, I'm still playing with Deron Miller, and we sound good when we rehearse. Step 3, I'm playing with Deron Miller, and I'm not making thousands of dollars a week. Step 4, Deron Miller's reputation is bad, and I think that some of that could be true. Step 5, okay, I agree with all the people that hate Deron Miller and his reputation, so I'm going to go on that side of things.
It's
And the amount of times that has happened, is hilarious.
it's
It's insane.
never like an easy way to work with it. It's just like, oh yeah, here's a guitar player, here you go. Like no, there's like stages that you have to go through to
Yeah,
find
yeah. I
who.
mean, it can certainly be rewarding financially, but if that's like your main, shouldn't be doing music if that's your main goal. That was never my main goal, even back when there was lots of money to be made. Money was
Yeah,
just like the reward, but it was one of the rewards. The main thing was like, God, you could be in a band and like put shit out and people like dig it. You
yeah,
know, they like
yeah.
it. They find out who you are, and you know. But I wouldn't say that it could go that way for many bands now. It's a shame, but I'm glad I caught
Yeah.
the tail end of the record business. I appreciate those 15 years, 20 years of catching the tail end of the record recording business when Island Def Jam had that huge office on Sunset Boulevard, and you could just go there and hang out and do whatever you wanted, and there were parties and
Didn't
lots of
have to
cool
worry
stuff.
about anything
Yeah, well,
in a
not that.
way,
It was just
but
different time. I wouldn't say it was because I was younger or we were younger that it was more exciting. It's just that all that shit is gone now. I feel sorry for musicians that are like 21 that like worship Metallica or something, and they're like, I'm gonna start my own band, and it's just like
It's almost
uh,
like a side job at this point. Like,
yeah, it's even if you're successful at it, you gotta have a yeah, don't quit your day job kind of thing.
yeah,
But
that's really
but I'm lucky to have caught the, we were all very lucky to have caught the tail end of it, and made a bunch of money and saved up and did
well, yeah. And
investments and
whenever
things like that.
like you're saying, you caught the tail end of it. That's whenever people were still buying records and CDs and actual physical copies of music. Now it's
Yeah.
all streaming and just pennies per stream, and it's like I feel like
Streaming
some,
doesn't streaming doesn't pay unless you build up a catalog. If you build up a catalog of albums and people follow you, like listen to your music, it starts to build up. Like $1 will become $10, and then it builds up. But and if you're streaming well, it can pay a little bit, but nowhere near as
yeah,
like forget it. Like nowhere near. It's don't quit your day job. This question here. I'm one of those guys. Darren, people love your fucked up honesty and your intensity. Get it back in your head. You are a fucking rock star. You got this, man. I said my piece. Thank you, Jake. Appreciate that. I miss CDs. I used to have so many. I kept the CKY 96 beater being one. Let me tell you something. You better keep your CDs, and you better keep your fucking DVDs and your Blu-rays and even your VHS, because it's not going to be long till streaming companies decide what they don't want streaming
yep,
on their platforms. So you might like a CD. For instance, just as an example, I was cooking the other day. I was cooking dinner, and I wanted to listen to a Cancer song, one of my favorite bands,
yeah.
Cancer, death metal band.
I've heard of
And
them.
I told Alexa, I was like, Alexa, play Crocodile Itch by Cancer. And she said, oh, okay, playing Crocodile Itch by Cancer and other artists. And I was like, I didn't ask for other artists. But Alexa played the song once, and then I couldn't get her to play it again. And then when I asked to put on another song and put it on repeat, she said, I can't put it on repeat. I'm like, all right, something's going on here where like like if you don't ask, I'm sure I could say, Alexa, play Taylor Swift until I drop dead. I'd be listening to
Oh
Taylor
yeah,
Swift. Yeah.
easily.
But it's like, like if they're controlling the fact that I can only listen to my favorite song at the time once, then keep
It's
your
like what?
fucking keep your CDs, keep your cassettes, keep your Blu-ray. You never know if like Spotify is going to have, like, let's say Dave Grohl does something and gets canceled for it. Like maybe he's like allegedly sexually assaulted somebody, which everything is just allegedly
Yeah,
now, and like you can't control what happens when you're falsely accused of something. So all of a sudden, like everybody like pulls away from you until you're proven to be innocent, and then not even then do you recover from it. So let's say you like the Foo Fighters, and Dave Grohl gets accused of something he didn't do. Spotify's going to take Foo Fighters shit down. So
yep.
keep your shit, keep your physical formats.
With the physical formats and everything, like I always think if the internet happens to go down or something for a couple of days or months
And there's that.
and then you
There's that as well.
have you want to listen to something, throw a record on, you have the whole record right there.
There
Like,
you go. There you go. I don't even have Spotify. I don't even know how it works. I buy CDs and I buy vinyl, mostly vinyl, but I will buy a CD because I have a CD player in my car. I bought my car only because it has a CD player in it.
yep.
I didn't look at any other things like on the, is the engine okay?
Yeah,
I didn't care about the condition of the car whatsoever. I was like, it has a CD player. Okay, it's mine. I'm buying it.
it's
And I listen.
funny.
That's what I do.
It's funny you bring that up because I recently got like a new to me car. It's a 2010 and everything, and it has a CD player in it. I switched the radio out on my old car to be
Hmm.
a Bluetooth. I'm like, there's so many albums that aren't on streaming,
Oh
and
my
so
God.
many like local bands.
Yeah.
Like,
And if you like obscure
well,
music, forget it.
yeah, it's
I mean,
like,
because there's so many. There used to be a lot of labels that didn't even want their shit on Spotify because they weren't going to get paid enough for it. Bye, sweetheart. And now I don't know if they've changed that at all. Be careful. I don't know if they've changed that at all, but you can't find everything you want to listen to on streaming services.
No.
Like I said, why couldn't I play that Cancer song more than once? It was just it's happened like 3 times where I've been down, I'm cooking or I'm washing dishes or something, and we have the Alexa there in the kitchen, and I say play that song because that's my favorite Cancer song, Crocodile Itch, right now,
Okay.
and it's only on vinyl, so there's no CD of that. It's an EP. It's like a yellow vinyl EP with the best cover, the best cover art ever. And so if I want to listen to it, I have to go upstairs and play the vinyl and put the needle back. Right, but like it's I stream it. I stream it once, can't listen to it again. Why? Why is that?
Yeah.
And then when I try to. Cancer, play Crocodile Itch, or Alexa, play Crocodile Itch by Cancer. It's like Cancer Radio and then it's like some kind of like talk show or something. Like, no, you just play. It's like the fucking computer just played it. Why can't I play it again? And why can't you put certain songs on repeat? What the fuck is that?
Especially the one you just played. Yeah, like what? Unless you go and manually do it, but it's like no, like whatever. So
yeah, so it's like streaming. Like, how do you know? Like, how do I know that streaming companies are only letting people listen to my shit once?
Yeah.
It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit.
It's a number. It's a numbers game. That's all.
It's people. If a streaming company is controlling how many numbers you can have and how many you can't have, it's not a fair game.
It's really hot. It's like they're always switching like the stream prices of a song. It's like 0.0001 cents of a song for a stream or something like that. It's like, why even, like, I feel like that puts most modern musicians down nowadays is because of that. It's like there's no like real payout for it unless you sell physical copies.
Well, it'd be one thing if Alexa couldn't find the song, then I'd understand that it wasn't available for streaming. But the fact that I could hear it once and not again, that's what confused me.
But like you said, then you go and put Taylor Swift on, and then you can put the whole discography on. It's like, what?
Well, Spotify probably bought, all the record companies, and they're trying to push something that they can get billions and billions of streams from. They're not going to fucking play Crocodile Itch by Cancer.
Yeah.
And then another thing is that they like recommend other artists when you ask for one in particular. I want to hear a streaming session of this one band, and then another band comes on that has nothing to do with the band you just listened to. It's like, why did you push that? So the streaming industry was corrupt from the get-go, but it's even worse now. It's even worse now. Back then sorry, go ahead.
That was like I was talking to my neighbor about Netflix and everything earlier today, and he was like, oh yeah, we used to go on my sister's account and pay her and everything. And then they made this whole wall about not being on somebody else's account and everything, and just made it like a whole big spiel of it. And it's like they're really like cracking down on everything. Like
absolutely,
really
they want to control. They want to control what you see. Taylor Swift, I don't even consider like her to be a Madonna or even a Britney Spears because she's just like a political,
it's a drive.
It's just not music to me. I don't understand why anybody would really listen to that and like it. But even people that like that kind of music, I don't know why they would listen to that.
Yeah, but anytime that comes on, it's like, no, like it's just I don't get the hype for it.
Right. Somebody made a comment about Netflix, which is the Spotify of movies.
Yeah.
I can't find it.
Netflix is hiding views from comedians that put it on special.
Yeah, I believe that. When Ricky Gervais said that his special was the most watched, I was like, I'm surprised they told him that. because Netflix is cool because they're kind of impartial. I think, like if people will watch it, they'll put it up, which
Yeah.
right now is cool. I don't know if they'll change that decision, but a lot of streaming services are like have gotten political for some reason, and they're only like playing, you know, artists, comedians, movies, music that TV shows that go by a certain political view,
I feel like
which
if you
is
like deeply
absolutely
analyze that,
insane.
yeah,
It's absolutely insane. Whereas a record store would have CDs, you could have Two Live Crew sitting there next to fucking Mr. Rogers or something, Sesame
yeah,
Street. It's like that back then, like nobody really put much thought into. There weren't many record stores all the record stores used to ever really care about was, okay, we can't have that album
yeah,
cover sitting on the racks. That's as far as, record chains ever went. Like with Cannibal Corpse, like, for example, like obviously
and that,
they went overboard with their cover art, and I
yeah,
understand, like
that,
one old lady
that,
some lady looking for Cher doesn't want to run into a Cannibal Corpse cover with a rotted corpse being eaten out. I
yeah.
understand that, but now it's like, wow, we have everybody streaming and we can control shit.
We can push so much of how much we want to control, and then it's like, okay, well, now that this isn't as hot right now, we're just going to take this right off, and it's done. So,
Right.
yeah,
Let's say I go on a killing spree tonight. Tomorrow you won't be able to stream my music, so you better
yeah.
keep the CDs and the fucking vinyl.
Keep the physical copies.
Keep the physical copies. Why do you not like the band Bolt Thrower? And what did Brett Hoffman see and like in the band? Brett loved Bolt Thrower to the point where he wore that Bolt Thrower shirt for like 30 years. He loved Bolt Thrower. I think he loved their war. Do you know Bolt Thrower, Andrew?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they're like classic death metal band. I think they're from England. Um,
that sounds about right. Yeah,
yeah, Bolt Thrower is like a band. It was like about war. Brett loves facts about war. His dad was in wars. His dad, Phil Fasciano, told me some stories about like how his dad used to like collect ears and put them on a necklace, like just fucked up shit. So Brett was infatuated with war, and a lot of the Malevolent stuff is about war and reality and true stories. Like the song "Multiple Stab Wounds," the Malevolent Creation song "Multiple Stab Wounds" is a true story. Happened to their friend, where their friend was fucking brutally butchered somewhere out in the middle of nowhere, and one of the killers dropped their wallet, and they found the guy from the Latin. The dude survived, so
oh
it's
wow.
fucking crazy. And
That's off of Ten Commandments, right?
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
multiple stab wound, and Bolt Thrower. I think, getting back to that, I think that they toured together. They had a good time.
that's cool.
Um, they're not very fast. They're just a brutal, like slow death metal band.
Very like mid-paced death metal.
Yeah, yeah. I like. They have one album called God. I can't. I'm drawing a blank as usual. Um, Something Chaos. Somebody can tell me. They have some good albums though. I have them all on cassette. Do I like Sodom?
It's funny.
Agent Orange is a good album. Sorry, I'm
It's funny
yapping. Go ahead.
because like with their mixes for Bolt Thrower, it's like you have their original mixes, and then they released like the new high quality. Like I forget, there's a special name for it, but like it's not surround sound, but it's like so much better than like it's so not better, but so much more open than the original mixes. And then if you put them back to back, it's like wow, holy shit, okay, this is crazy. So
Like remastering kind of thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, one thing I was curious about was how did you get into the octave pedal?
Well, it's very simple. The same story. Uh, it doesn't change. Um, when I lived on East Barnard Street in Westchester. You can look it up. I lived 122 East Barnard Street. And that was like probably not even a half a mile from Al Bean's music store. Everybody in Westchester knew Al Bean. If you were a musician, you knew Al
Okay.
Bean. He was this crazy pedophilic, maybe kind of guy, but probably wasn't. He had a music store. And then there was another music store that nobody went to that was like further down either High Street or Gay Street. I think it was Taylor's Music. I'm not positive that's the name, but I think it was Taylor's Music. Taylor's Music was more of like a guitar center, where Al Bean's was more like like definitely mom and pop. Like you walked in and you couldn't
Yeah.
walk. It was so cluttered and, hoarded.
Stuff everywhere.
Yeah, it was like he was like a hoarder, but he hoarded really cool shit. It wasn't like trash. And I went in there in like '98 and I saw the guitar I wanted, and I went in there just because I had a Gorilla practice amp, and my girlfriend owned the house, and I moved in with her just like you just moved in on your own. That was the first
Yeah.
time I moved. I moved out of my parents' house. I was 19. I moved in with her. She had a house on East Barnard Street in Westchester. And I lived there for a long time, along with a couple of my other friends and some other weird people that I didn't know. But anyway, I digress here. I went over to Al Bean's music store because my Gorilla amp was so shitty that anything that I would write, I didn't think was really cool because of the way it sounded when it came out of the Gorilla amp. So I went down there, and I'm a pedal freak. I still am a pedal freak. I'm not a gear freak. Honestly, and this is kind of embarrassing to say, I'm attracted to pedals by the color of them, and I want to collect them all. Like, I see a
It's
synth
like, oh
pedal
yeah,
that's blue.
that's cool right there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like I want to have them all. Like I want to have the option instead of being able to like click on a practice amp like, oh, this is that. I like to have all these pedals that I say, oh, okay, I can do a little synth sound. I'll figure that out on the pedal. It's blue and it's cool looking, and I'll stomp on it and see what happens. But I went over there. That's the way I was back when I was in my teen years, and
Yeah.
that's the way I still am. I go into a music store. If a pedal looks cool, the color is like lime green or something, and I'll fucking buy it and just see what happens. But
Like you plug it in, it's like I was not expecting this. So
yeah.
cool.
But I don't know. It's just I don't like new ways of doing things. But anyway, I went in there and I saw the octave pedal. It was brand new. Al was selling it.
SP2, right?
Yeah, OC2.
Okay.
Al was selling it. And I was like, how much is this? It was like $100. And I was like, all right. And I like the idea of octave because I knew what it meant. I knew what octave meant. You can go like this. Oh, oh, oh. That's three octaves right
Yeah.
there. So I was like, wow, I'm going to be able to plug this in, and it's going to make my guitar do the low sound of whatever note I play and the high sound. That's two guitars right there as far as I was concerned. And also I'm playing and writing songs that I didn't want to play chords anymore that much. Still to
Yeah.
this day, I only use chords out of necessity. I don't like chords, even if I'm trying to be weird and, quirky. I don't like chords that go bling, bling. Like, I just don't like that.
Out all dissonant and everything.
I'm just not a chord kind of guy. So that's because of Death's spiritual healing. 70% of that album is fucking single note riffs. So I became obsessed with single note riffs because of spiritual healing, which has songs like Low Life, and there's that bridge riff in a song called Living Monstrosity. And then when I heard Spheres by Pestilence, I was like, all right, single notes are cooler than chords. So
You can do a lot more with them than because you're always so barred down with chords. It's like you can only do so much with them, and single notes, so you can just do whatever.
As a songwriter, I use chords to underline something that's vocal, you know,
Okay.
because you don't always want a bunch of single notes going when you're singing. Not
Yeah.
always. It's hard to make that happen, but it's easier. Like if you're going to do a chorus on a song, it's usually more satisfying to like put some chords underneath what you're singing in a chorus, but not always. Probably not most of the time, but it is, you know, easier to come up with a good chorus vocally and lyrically than it is uh, over single notes to do whatever chords.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But yeah, there, in Kiss, "Hotter Than Hell" is the best single note riff Kiss album.
I I
Yeah.
was listening to something with you in an interview the other day. There was an Ace Frehley song that you brought up that had single note riffs. I forget what it was, but
Ace was the king of single note songs. "Naked City" is a great single note Kiss song. It's got chords and keyboards and all kind of shit, but that opening riff is awesome. Kiss Unmasked is a very poppy album.
okay.
It came out on my birthday, on my fourth birthday, so of course I love that album.
Pretty sentimental.
Not Yeah, well, "Naked City" is a great Kiss song, and it's single notes, not written by Gene Simmons, but Kiss has some cool single note riffs. "Parasite,"
Yeah.
you know, and Ace was really good at that. Um, "Room Service" by Kiss has a cool single note. I mean, that's where I got all that shit from. And then Death, it was because of Death, "Spiritual Healing," and then "Spheres" by Pestilence that became obsessed. And anybody that listens to those albums is going to hear the CKY and the 96 and that shit. So that's where it came from.
Okay. Yes. Like single note riffs can have so much more power than
Yeah, they do a lot more. You can get a lot more melody out of them,
you have.
and
It's like
you can construct a catchy riff. Like most riffs, even if they're used with chords,
yeah.
that's pretty much a single note riff. But they're using power chords. Iron Man, and Crazy Train,
Yep.
yeah. So it's not hard to figure out why.
Um, yeah. It's pretty fun to jump around with single notes because like you can do whatever with them. You can add so much more color behind chords with single notes and everything, and just do honestly anything with them.
Yeah. That's crazy because I can't stand Kiss. If you don't stand Kiss, I don't believe that you've listened to that much Kiss. Kiss, in the way that they present themselves to the music media, is pretty cringy and embarrassing, and they don't admit when they get caught lip syncing all that stuff. But if you go over their musical catalog, they've done all kinds of music.
You
So,
just saw them recently,
yeah, I saw
didn't you?
the last show, their last show, December 2nd at Madison Square Garden. I was there.
Okay,
And my best friend's nephew got us the tickets because he worked at Madison Square Garden.
that's pretty
So,
cool.
and we had awesome seats, and I know they were lip syncing. I know they were lip syncing. As a singer, you can tell when someone's lip syncing. As a
Oh yeah,
guitar player, like when you watch a guitar player on like a Disney Channel of a show where they're like there's a band on a Disney show, you can tell they're not really playing their instruments.
yeah.
I can tell, and every singer can tell when someone's lip syncing. So yes, they were lip syncing, but it didn't really matter. It was their last show. It was a celebration of the band, I think, more than it was about, oh, Paul Stanley better hit all those notes. You know, it wasn't about that. Like he was missing notes talking to the crowd, so you can understand. Like,
That
hey,
goes to show.
hey,
Yeah,
you know, hey, people. Like you can't even hit a note
definitely. All right.
talk.
Oh,
If
okay.
you can't even hit a talking note to the crowd,
I don't know
then
how.
How you gonna?
you can say. That's
Yeah.
why
So
it's funny you bring that up because like I was listening to Black Sabbath the other day, their live album from like 2017 or something. Like whenever
oh, all
Ozzy
fake,
sings,
all fake, all fake.
you, you can like completely understand what he's saying, but when he talks, it's just like, what the hell is he trying to say?
Yeah,
Like,
it's all fake. I don't think there's been a legitimate live album since the 70s.
it's
If
all
I'm being
yeah,
honest, there really hasn't
yeah,
been. Really hasn't been. And with Ozzy, God bless him, I fucking love that guy. I would do anything for Ozzy Osbourne as long as Sharon wasn't there. I would do anything for Ozzy Osbourne. But
mhm.
Ozzy used to say tribute. You know that live album tribute,
Yeah.
Randy Rhoads.
Uh-huh.
Uh, everybody was saying, the record company and Ozzy were saying, that is the only live recording for me and Randy Rhoads ever done. There is no other recording. But then Ozzy Live pops up, you know, in 2011 or something. Like, oh, apparently they lost this amazing sounding live album. It's fake. It's fake. Kiss put out a fake live album. Well, three or four actually, and they tried to dismiss. They tried to say that some of the unreleased tracks were from 1975, and it's like you didn't even have that technology of what the effect you have on your voice in
Yeah.
1975. It's like, and not only that, it's like it's all studio. You can hear it's like maybe the drums might have been from 1975, but anybody that doesn't have the ear to hear this shit is going to know. But you're selling to people that don't know how music is made. It's
Yeah.
made. So you don't care, you know. Kiss is going to sell, 400,000 copies of a live record to people that don't know whether the shit's live or not. And then
Yeah.
they're going to sell 50,000 to people that say this is shit. It's not really alive. So whose money would you want? Because a dollar is a dollar is a dollar.
Yep.
So that's how it worked. It still
How did
works.
the Malevolent Creation tour go?
They've all been awesome. They, all the shows have been awesome. Um, there was a guy on the first tour we had to get rid of him. He was kind of weird. But then on the last tour, we went to South America. It was just great. I didn't like the traveling, the flying. Nobody did. Nobody does. And
Yeah.
they were great shows. We played this um, place, I think it was Santiago, sold out. It's like 1,200 people or some shit like
Oh
that. It's like
wow.
crazy. It's like, you tell people you're in a band, and you're like, what band are you in? I'm in Malevolent Creation. And they're like, they think to themselves, who the fuck is that? Nobody has any idea what goes on outside of the country they live in. So you go to South America, Malevolent Creation, huge band,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, that's
And
South America and Brazil and everything. Like they're diehard metal fans.
but even if I reunited with CKY and we decided to go to South America, we'd play to empty clubs because our shit
Yeah.
never got distributed there. So it's kind of like big bands versus little bands. Don't always fucking assume that a big band that's big in America might not be as big as a much smaller band is in America somewhere else. And a dollar is a dollar is a dollar, and a show is a show is a show. And if it's a show in South America is much more fun than a show in the anywhere else that might not be you know as
Everybody's
enjoyable.
everybody's into it, like actually into it, and has a passion for music down in South America.
Well, they rage like the '90s.
Yeah.
South America
I mean,
rages like that, and they don't have rules. Don't stage dive. People stage dive. They mosh. You're allowed to mosh in South America. In the U.S. and Canada, clubs say you mosh, you leave.
yeah.
I've seen that
It's
sign many times. You know, crowd surf or stage dive. You're out of here.
like a
So
band opens up a song that's like meant for moshing and you can't. And it's like, what the hell
when
is
when
this? Well,
when a crowd isn't allowed to mosh, what do? They hold up their fucking
Yeah.
phones.
Yeah.
So
They
it's like,
just stand there and
and they do
record the whole show.
they do that in South America too. But it's interesting because like the phone holders are up at the front, then you have this huge pit in the middle, and then you have the people in the back that don't want to be in the pit and don't want to hold up their phones. So it's like interesting. It's cut up
It's
into three
almost like
pieces.
it should be reversed or something
Yeah.
like that.
Well, a lot of phones get dropped and thrown because the mosh pit kind of.
Yeah.
But in the U.S., you're not allowed. Like clubs are allowed to. Just clubs that are still open are afraid to even fucking let you move.
Yeah.
They don't want the. It used to be mosh at your own risk when I was growing up.
Like if you fall down, pick them up and just
Right.
like
The toxic waltz.
yep.
Exodus toxic waltz. But no, there's a lot of lawsuits. So there are some clubs that are more lenient to that, but most of the small clubs and bars that we play in 96 don't allow it. I don't even think the venue we played in Pittsburgh allowed it.
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
sucks. Yeah, you're not allowed to enjoy the show. The only way to enjoy the show is to film it and then watch it later. I,
Maybe post
I don't
it or something.
understand
Yeah.
that. I don't understand that. Why film it, watch it later when you're there? You know,
Yeah.
if
Just
I had,
enjoy the
if I
moment.
had, because like, all right, if I went to the December 2nd Kiss show, the very last Kiss show, and held up my phone the whole time, I would have fucking missed it. And then I should be thinking, how many other people are going to record this
Record the
show?
whole. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
it's
next thing
like,
you know, it's gonna be up on YouTube the next day. Like
right.
just
So,
enjoy it and yeah.
yeah.
That was
Oh,
like oh, I saw Obituary this past Wednesday. They were pretty awesome. They actually
I've
played a
never
little.
seen Obituary.
I met,
That's
met
like one of the
Terry
only
Butler.
bands. Yeah.
I met Terry Butler and Trevor, and yeah, they were awesome. They played old stuff. They played Chopped in Half,
Chopped
Slowly
it
Rock and
up.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon
It's,
as he went into that, it was. They never like play, which is weird because they never play old stuff. It's like they do everything off the new
yeah.
album. Then they opened up with well, they opened. I know you find the song funny, but they opened up with Redneck Stomp and everything, and then just went out from there.
Yeah.
So
I know.
yeah, it
I've
was
never
awesome.
seen Obituary. I love Obituary. I have fucking so many Obituary vinyl, you wouldn't believe it. But like different colors and editions and all that shit. But I've never seen them, and I know why, because I always wanted to, but I just never found out about their shows coming into Philly. So I've never seen them. But what I wanted to say is like Obituary and death metal bands, their live albums you can fucking trust
Yeah, it's just straightforward, like like it's
because they can't afford to
really
go into
well.
the studio and redo everything. But there is a live album that I hate live albums. Okay, let me just say that, get it out of the way. It's not the first time I've said it. I don't like live albums because I don't like raw. I don't like rawness. I don't like bands that sound like they're practicing.
Yeah,
But there's a Def Leppard live album that surfaced recently, and I bought it. I forget what it's called, but it's from 1980. And I bought it thinking, okay, I love all these songs, but I don't expect to hear real live tracks.
yeah,
Like, I'm like, okay, they're gonna Def Leppard just found an old, you know, recorded show of theirs and went into the studio and fixed it up. There's maybe I think a 5% chance they might have done that, but I bought the live album because I love the songs. I took it home and I listened to it. I was like, this is legit live. This is legit live. And Joe Elliott's voice sounds like Joe Elliott in 1980. Rick Allen sounds like Rick Allen, the drummer from 1980. Like everything. Pete Willis sounds like Pete Willis. You know he ain't getting in the studio with Def Leppard to redo that shit. So I love that album. It's a live album, and I love it because the the songs they play somehow are better than the ones on their first album. If you've ever heard the first Def Leppard album, On Through the Night, it's awful. It's fucking awful. The songs are good, but it's just awful. Like Joe Elliott has this thing in his voice. He's like, "Can't you see that it's true?" He always goes, "Ugh." at the end of every line. And like live on that album, on that live album that they put out, he's like more has more balls.
Yeah.
So and
More experience with what
and
to
the
do.
playing, yeah, and the playing is like perfect. Like there's no, I don't think there's any sour notes, which leads me to believe it could have been partially re-recorded, but
I'm sure.
I don't know.
Like
Sounds
that
live to
amount of
me.
time.
Sounds live to me. Plus, all the members on there are ex-members, pretty much. So
Okay.
they're not going to be, they're not going to record. And I can tell Pete Willis is playing and Steve Clark's playing just by listening to it. So um, if it isn't live, then they fooled me. But
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
I, another thing, speaking about like live music and stuff like that, for the re-recorded tracks, what made you want to go back and re-record it? I mean, I know you said mix wise and everything, but like, is there anything else that like made you want to go back and redo
For
them?
the
Or
for the re-record album,
yeah,
just because there's stuff about. I mean, there's a billion reasons. I don't know a band that hasn't done it um, to varying degrees of success. I mean, it's not. Exodus re-recorded "Bonded by Blood," and I don't think it's anywhere near as good as the original.
yeah,
But they made that clear. We're not trying to replace it. You don't have to listen to it. It's basically it was basically just me to bring the songs back to me. And every band does it now because it brings attention to their other original albums. So there's that. There's the fact. There's my personal reason, which is I don't like certain aspects of the originals, or it's fun. It was fun. Fucking fun to do. Um,
yeah, like
I
a
mean,
flashback
I,
almost.
I don't think that it should be taken very seriously. Um, and it's funny because every band that does it, and I don't know a band that hasn't done it, feels the need to do these like liner notes. We're not. I don't think we're doing a physical copy of it because
I was gonna
we're not.
ask if there was gonna be a vinyl of it or
I don't.
anything.
I don't think so. I don't think we want to do that because it's not supposed to be taken so seriously, and it's not like that kind of thing. But um, what was I saying? I forget what I was saying. I always forget what I'm saying. What the fuck was I saying?
Trying to think too. Uh, something taken seriously, like one of the liner notes.
Oh, just fixing stuff. Oh, and the liner notes. Yeah. Everybody, Annihilator, Exodus, Flaming Lips, for Christ's sake. Um, all that, all those, every band you can think of has re-recorded tracks. Actually, Cavalera, Sepultura, the
Yeah,
Cavalier brothers are re-recording everything. I
they're
mean,
doing this like stuff off their first album and everything, and
yeah,
yeah, it sounds awesome.
everybody does it, and they all feel the need to like make excuses for it. Like, this isn't to replace the originals. We have respect for the originals. It's just music.
Yeah,
You don't want to hear. You want to hear it. You hear it.
if you're a
But
new
it's not about
band,
that.
do what you want with it.
How it's received. How I don't know how other bands like handle how it's received by their fans. I don't care really how it's received. As far as I'm concerned, it's more content. It's more music to listen to.
Yeah,
I get to fix. I get to fix the mistakes or add things. It's not
you
really
get to feel
mistakes. It's
better
the way
about everything.
yeah. And I have the experience of being in the studio and having a bad day and hearing something I don't like and wanting to fix it. So it's something that everybody does. I'm seriously trying to think. Kiss did one and I hated it. It's called they did it and they released it in Japan only. And then they did it they put it as a bonus disc on their album Sonic Boom for Walmart. And I'm just like,
Okay,
God, dude, this is awful. Paul Stanley's trying to enunciate every single word. Hot, hot, hotter than hell. Like, dude, rock out a
then you
little
go back.
bit.
Yeah, then you
Yes.
go back to the original, and it's like
Yeah.
this is so much better. Like,
And it might sound better than the original, but the original is the original. But I don't listen to my music as a fan of myself. I listen to my music as, okay, here's the opportunity to redo this, put it out there. You're going to get a divided audience. Everybody knew that.
Yeah.
Doing it happens.
Honestly, I was thinking like if it gets out there like that with how you're putting out the nostalgic songs and everything, it's going to open up more fans to this kind of music and everything. So
Right.
I don't know. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, is this going to create more fans for this genre and everything, and just open up more or something like that? I don't know. It's just something I was thinking about. But
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, I'd rather re-record stuff than release. I hope we never release a best of album, 96 bit, the best of 96 bitter beings, because you can do that after 3 records, you
yeah,
know, and that's just selling people the same shit. But a lot of bands, I don't think any bands have access to their masters because the record companies have lost them all. You
unless
know,
they're
they've lost them
not
out.
under a label. Yeah,
It's very rare, you know, for for a band to be able to get a hold of their masters to remix them. It's very rare. So even I don't even think Kiss has remixed any of their albums. Oh, they did. They remixed Destroyer. But getting a hold of the master tapes and being able to remix them is not easy. And I have some master tapes. I have some CKY master tapes, but they're on tape. And you can't find anywhere that'll fucking throw up a 2-inch tape reel and let you sit there and remix
yeah,
shit.
it's
So,
all digital now.
right. But, there's that. And then, there's, you give your master tapes to the record companies back then. And they hold them and they always lose them. The lower sales of the album, the more lost they are. Like, if you were to try to locate a Napalm Death master tape from
It's like, oh, we lost it.
from
Like,
Sony,
did you really?
like, good luck, they're gone.
Yeah,
So, the choice is either to remaster it to where it gets acceptable in the band's eyes or re-record it. But I wish a lot of those old death metal albums would get remixed. I wish they
that'd be
would
cool.
remix. Yeah, remix Spheres, remix. It would be awesome if Patrick Mameli, which they just did a remix album, Pestilence, and wow. But
Bring it back
Spheres,
to life. Like,
yeah, you have to listen to it, make up your own opinion. But I listen. Pestilence just put out a remix, or not a remix,
I
but a
saw something
re-recorded album.
about that. Yeah,
Yeah, it's just really raw. I, Raw is not my thing, but it would be cool if these bands could somehow locate their master tapes from these record companies that are defunct and now owned by Sony, Warner, and
all
EMI, which are the only
the
ones.
big companies. Yeah,
Universal Music Group, which is all there is left. Warner, Warner, Sony, and Universal. They're
yeah,
the only left. If you go to Universal and ask for the master tapes of fucking a Napalm Death album or something, good luck to you. Not going
yeah.
to happen.
So, yeah,
But
oh, yeah,
especially,
we lost it. Okay.
no, they won't even give you an answer. They won't even return your phone call. And I know that because I've had bands tell me, like, try to get our albums. Legally, we're owed our albums back after a certain amount of years. And they say we leave messages, they don't call back. So
Wow.
the band like for their master tapes, you're not going to get a return phone call because they don't take it
Yeah.
seriously. The small little band. But
Oh, yeah. Okay. Whatever. Like,
Warner Brothers owns all the Roadrunner stuff. I would love to hear like Patrick Mameli like remix Spheres and stuff like that. And Erosion of Sanity to be remixed with today's technology. You know, God,
'cause everything
fucking
back then was just analog tapes and just
analog
metal.
tapes. And even if you do get your master tapes back, you got to find somewhere, spend a ton of money to throw up a 2-inch reel of tape,
Yeah.
load it into Pro Tools, and fucking we did that with An Answer Can Be Found. Not only did we get it erased, but it cost us tens of thousands of dollars just to throw it up on fucking Pro Tools. We did some shit on 2-inch tape on that album. And I think that album sounds like crap. So songs are
Yeah,
good, but it sounds
it'll
like
be
shit
cool
to me.
to hear all those recorded tracks from what I'm hearing so far. So
Yeah, so far nobody's really heard them. The rest of the album is the Answer Can Be Found tracks are what really benefit from being re-recorded, and I did 4 of them, and they're a lot closer to what they should have been. So
I'm honestly, whenever I saw the track list get released and everything, I mean, I can kind of understand why, but like, I am honestly surprised he didn't do 96 Play Bitter
I
Beings.
did, just not on
Oh,
this
you
album.
did?
It's just not on this
Okay.
album. And if I'm being honest, our ex-guitar player is holding them hostage, which isn't smart because I'm suing him over it. But
Yeah. It's
he's
your
getting sued.
song. Like,
He you know, and I have a friend. We did a friend of mine. I don't want to give out too many details, but my friend and I paid him to do another project that he bailed on. So he's a bailer. You know, he
find
doesn't like
anyone reliable anymore.
to finish projects. You know, so that's not going to be too good for him.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I can't stand like whenever I'm working on a cover or something, like I have to finish it or it's gonna bother me. It's like I have to get this done. Like I don't know,
right,
I can't just let it linger.
right, right. Well, if you're passionate and driven,
Yeah,
yeah, a lot of people are not like that.
even trustworthy at that point too. So
Trustworthy.
can't say
You know,
anymore.
they're able to fool you into thinking that they are in the first couple of months, but you know,
Then it's like you start to bring out the truth of them. It's like, okay, now I
yeah,
see where this
yeah.
is going.
You know, if one person who's extremely passionate and creative and disciplined says that they are, it's no different from somebody who's not that says the same
Yeah.
thing until you find out it's much too late. But you know, that's just the creative world. That's like just the art. You know, being in a band, you're trying to get together with 2, 3, 4 other people and make something happen, and the chances of you know that going all the way to where you want it to go is very rare.
Hmm.
I don't know any bands that have original, like all original members. I think the record goes to Deicide.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I
Deicide.
wasn't expecting. I know Gojira too
Who's that?
has all the original Gojira.
Gojira?
Um,
Do they? I
they're a
don't know
newer
anything about them.
band.
I don't know anything about them. I know Deicide lasted from their first album to 2001. So that's 1989 to 2001. That's the record, I think,
Oh wow.
for any band that I know with all original members. I mean,
That's
Metallica lost two members before they went in to do Kill 'Em All.
yeah.
You know,
It's like you're
it
doing it
just
for 1, 2, 3 years, and then you lose some people, and it's like, okay, all right, here we go.
yeah, it's just usually it's one of it could be one of many reasons, but the main 2 reasons why bands lose members, like let's take Megadeth for instance, like
So many of
a
them.
they're they're not getting paid financially what they thought they were going to get paid, but they accepted the deal, and then they realized like, hey, the other guy's getting paid more than me, and they accept that. But then later the resentment starts to grow and grow, and they feel like,
Create tension and everything.
yeah, and then that spins out of control. The second reason is that they weren't prepared for how much work goes into being in a band. You know, hey, I'll join Megadeth and tour a couple of months out of the year and get the, you know,
Yeah,
no, it doesn't work like
easier said
that.
than done.
Right. There's a lot more that goes with that. But, you know, and like Chuck Schuldiner was, you know, I think the king of losing band members. I remember thinking, what the hell? Is this a band or is it, you know, is it just Chuck Schuldiner? But
Yeah.
a lot of those ex-band members left for really weird reasons. And that goes along with them being so young. You stole my girlfriend. I quit. Like stuff like that.
Stupid drama, everything like that.
Hmm. Yeah. But now it's like mostly financially driven. It's jealousy driven. Um, it's your life changes so drastically that you can't keep
That
up
with
with. You didn't expect so much to happen. And
that with how expensive everything is anymore too. It's like insane.
yeah, and I feel bad about. I mean, I can handle someone's about to die. Bands aren't given really the opportunity to do much.
No, they're really not. And then whenever that happens, there's like little to no
Yeah,
motivation after that.
right. And you don't see it going forward, so you know they don't. I just feel bad because like nobody's ever going to be able to feel how I felt when we started our band, and it went from nothing. It went from zero all the way up, further than we ever thought it would. That's never going to happen for any other band unless they do something weird on TikTok or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
I really,
anybody that gets successful, there's always like some kind of superficial reason. Like for instance, have you heard about that Baby Reindeer TV show?
I watched it. Yeah,
Yeah, I watched it too. Not that great, in my opinion, but
still
what's
interesting, but yeah, like
it's just Fatal Attraction. Yeah, it's whatever. But it's I was what's happening around it legally is more interesting because the woman that was portrayed as like the psychopath stalker, everybody found out who she really was, and now her life
yeah.
is getting destroyed because of it. That's more interesting than the fucking TV show itself. So it's like,
I got emails about that the other day. I'm like, wait a minute.
yeah.
It was weird because it was right when I was watching it too, and I was like, wait, what is
So yeah,
happening right now?
right. What's happening? So it becomes successfully because of a superficial reason or a reason that has nothing to do with it. That's how things become big now. You know, we had a boost in streams because someone on TikTok wore a shirt.
Yeah,
You know, it's like, what is that? I mean,
it's just
well,
odd. Yeah.
whatever. But anyway, I had a good time. My phone is about to die. I don't want to cut you off.
All
Thanks for
right,
coming
no.
in, everybody that came in and asked questions. I'm sorry I didn't get to more of them.
Yeah, I'm getting pretty sleepy on my end here, so
All right. Well, let's say goodbye. Thanks for chatting. It was a good time. We'll do it again.
sounds good. Nice
All right.
talking to you.
You too.
All right.
Thanks, guys. See ya.